Hare Rama Hare Nama Tumi Kripa Hare Hare Krishna Namadhane Tumi Krishna Kori Shraddha Bindu Diya Deho Krishna Namadhane Tomara Krishna Amito Gangala Krishna Krishna Aitava Pachitane Dayare Sagara Krishna Se Karuna Kori Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Shanam Sankit Om Gyan Timadanda Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sapitam Yena Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Vadanti Sevadam Vandeham Shri Guru Shilta Padakam Shri Guru Shri Rupam Sadhuratam Sarvanatham Vitam Sajivam Charetam Sadhuram Parinarasaritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sarvana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaaya Uttare Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namade Namaste Saraswati Deve Paramahangirajine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Pashadeshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Chaitanya Namne Gaurikse Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tatta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripire Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Padinaram Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaurapatrendra Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Is the voice not clear? Is it? Okay. Is the voice clear now? Yes. Voice is clear now. Video is not coming? Internet issue. Okay, then video you can take from that. No, video is coming, yeah, you have to see in the video from here. Yeah. Okay. And then I close the video from here. Okay. So we'll recite first canto, second chapter, verse number 7. And it's one of the very important verses. Yesterday I took the verse about pure devotion service, and today is about Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janyati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayata Hetukam Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Jnanam Chayata Hetukam Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janaya Suvairagyam Jnanam Jayata Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janaya Suvairagyam So Vasudev unto Krishna, Bhagavati unto the personality of Godhead, Bhakti Yoga, contact and devotional service, Prayojita being applied, Janyati, thus produce, Ashu, very soon, Vairagyam, detachment, Jnanam, knowledge, and here that which Ahetukam causes. By rendering devotional service on the personality of God Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Purport by His Divine Grace Swami Prabhupada ki. Those who consider devotional service to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna to be something like material emotional affair may argue that in the revealed scriptures, sacrifice, charity, austerity, knowledge, mystic power, and similar other procedures of transcendental life are recommended. According to them, bhakti or the devotion to the Lord is meant for those who cannot perform the high-grade activities. So even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing, singing in Varanasi, all the Mayavadis said, "Arey, you are sentimentalist. You're dancing, you should read Vedanta with us." Even there are some other Vaishnava Sampradaya also. Remove the because of the road mic. Sorry. Technical problem. Get it another one. Is the voice clear? Yeah, better. So the point was saying this verse, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Pujita Jana So what this verse talks about, this verse talks about that how if you do Shuddha Bhakti, yesterday we talked about Shuddha Bhakti, Ahetuki, Aprita, Pratita, Yatmasu, Prasidati. So somebody does Shuddha Bhakti, what happens? Janyatu Ashu Varagyam Jnanam Sayat Hetukam. The Jnana automatically develops, and even Vairagya also automatically comes in a person. Vairagya doesn't mean that the person will take sannyas. Vairagya means internal detachment from trying to enjoy sense gratification. That is Vairagya. So Vairagya, whether one is a grahastha or a brahmachari, Vairagya is needed. Vairagya Vidya Nij Bhakti Yoga. So even Mahaprabhu said that all the devotees of Mahaprabhu have one quality, Vairagya Pradhan, that they are not very attracted to sense gratification. Whether they are grasa devotees or whether they are brahmachari devotees or whether they are sannyasi devotees. There. So Vairagya Vidya Nij Bhakti Yoga. Sarva Bhattacharya is a grasta, but he's teaching Vedanta Sutra to Mahaprabhu. Kyari, you are a young sannyasi, you're taken as sannyasi, you may fall down. So please learn Vedanta Sutra. There. And Sarva Bhattacharya himself is a grasta. So the knowledge and vairagya comes automatically for a person who does Shuddha Bhakti Yoga. And the Shuddha Bhakti Yoga is done by whom? The devotees. Ahetuki Apratiyata, the Shuddha Bhakti. So anybody does Shuddha Bhakti, what happens to him? That person naturally develops jnana and vairagya. An example is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees. They're just chanting, dancing, and glorifying the Lord. And 4 months they will travel from 1 month they will travel from Mayapur to Puri. 4 months they will stay in Puri during Chaturmas, and 1 month they will travel back. And they most of the grastas. And their life is what? Mahaprabhu. And whatever food comes, they will accept and they'll be happy and things there. And they're just simply absorbing, chanting, and dancing. So this verse is speaking, yes, even Hare Krishna devotees, even they may learn only Bhagavad Gita, may learn Srimad Bhagavatam, chant Hare Krishna, they have the perfect knowledge and the people learn the Vedas. There. So a devotee doesn't have to worry whether I have sufficient knowledge or not. He has to perform Shuddha Bhakti Yoga. One devotee in Mayapur, he chants 64 rounds every day. And one of our brahmacharis who was learning Tatsa Sandarbhas, he goes to Mayapur and he was learning all the Tatsa Sandarbhas. And whenever he will have doubt, he approaches this devotee. This devotee does cooking for brahmacharis and he chants 64 rounds throughout the day. And he will ask the Tatsa Sandarbha typical question to him. And he said, I will tell you. And next day he will give the exact answer what is the Tatsa Sandarbhas. Because for a devotee who is completely dedicated to the Lord and serving the Lord with love, what happens? The knowledge is revealed. And this devotee, it was my one brahmachari friend, so he has gone there to Mayapur. He has gone there for Mayapur. And this brahmachari who was chanting 64 rounds asked him, are you chanting for pleasure of Krishna? Are you chanting for pleasure of Krishna, I'm chanting because Krishna please. And this story was done for. मैं तो कभी ऐसा सोचा नहीं है. हम तो chanting करें क्योंकि back to God जाते हैं. Hard to. How do you feel? Most of us understanding about chanting is what? Most of us, what is the conception about chanting? The conception about chanting is 16 माला करेंगे. प्रभुपाद ने बोला बैक टू गॉड चले जाएंगे. इससे कुछ भी हो 16 माला निपटाना है. How many of us feel like that? Please raise your hand. And that's the reason we don't feel taste for chanting. And neither we feel completely satisfied by chanting the holiness of the Lord. That is the secret. And why we don't feel taste for chanting and why we don't feel completely satisfied, because we're doing mokshkami bhakti than Shuddha bhakti. And that's what this verse is talking about. If somebody's bhakti is ahetuki, even not mokshkami, it will satisfy his heart and it will produce jnana and vairagya very quickly. Though mokshkami bhakti is better than bhuktikami bhakti, where a person does bhakti to get material benefits. And we do bhakti to go back to Godhead, which is not wrong, because Prabhupada says that you should want to go back home, back to Godhead in this very lifetime. There. Don't expect me to come back again and take you. So devotee should desire to perfect his life in this very lifetime and go back home, back to Godhead. But there is a problem. When you do bhakti, rather than with a desire to please Krishna, with a desire to back home, back to Godhead, it doesn't give higher taste. That's a problem. But when we do this bhakti, by chanting the holy names for the praise of the Lord, it gives us a higher taste. And that's what this verse is saying. So yes, naturally, we want to go back home, back to Godhead, isn't it? We want to go back home, back to Godhead. And we want to come out of the cycle of birth and death. But what's the point? The process of bhakti, we have to put our heart and see we are doing it for the pleasure of Sri Krishna. And when we learn to do bhakti this way, we get the mercy of the acharyas and bhakti becomes very easy. And that's what Sri Prabhupada is saying in this purport. Generally, it is said that a bhakti cult, is my voice clear in the online?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So generally, it is said generally say that bhakti kya is meant for the Shudras, Vaishyas, and less intelligent women class. But that's not the actual fact. The bhakti cult, because Krishna says, Vaishya, Shudra, Striya, they are Vyapi there. So people think, okay, Swarth there. But the next Krishna says, no, then what to say of the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas? The bhakti cult is the topmost of all transcendentality, and therefore it is simultaneously sublime and easy. It is sublime for pure devotees who are serious about getting contact with the Supreme Lord. And it is a very amazing point. We understand this technical word. Sublime for pure devotees and easy for fights. In between is little difficult. Again, sublime for pure devotees, easy for fight. Between little difficult. Lord Shri Krishna for all living beings, including the Shudra. So, want to speak of the high class man like that Brahmanas, great sacrifice kings. The other high grade activities designated as sacrifice, charity, or etc. are all corollary factors following the pure and scientific bhakti cult. The principles of knowledge and detachment are two important factors on the path of mental realization. The whole spiritual process leads to perfect knowledge of everything mental and spiritual, and the results of such perfect knowledge are that one becomes detached from mental affection and becomes attached to spiritual activities. Becoming detached from mental does not mean being ignorant altogether. As man with a poor fund of knowledge think, niche karma means not undertaking activity will produce good or bad effects. So negation doesn't mean negation of positive, negation of the non-essential doesn't mean negation of the essential. Similarly, detachment from material form does not mean nullifying the positive. The bhakti cult is meant for realization of the positive form. When the positive form is realized, the negative forms are automatically eliminated. Therefore, with the development of the bhakti cult, the application of positive service in positive form will actually become detached from material things and it becomes attached to superior things. Similarly, bhakti cult, being the supreme-most occupation of the living being, releasing of the material sense enjoyment, is a sign of a pure devotee. So, how bhakti takes out a person from there? By realizing of the positive form. So, for example, if you see, if a class has some dirty water, like just last week, one couple came to me. They practice some other kind of yoga, Sahaj yoga, and they're asking, how do you clean your mind? What do you do to clean your mind? I said, our process is one way. You chant Hare Krishna, it cleans the mind and fills the mind. And they were very amazed. They're saying, we do a lot of things to clean the mind first, and then we do what? I said, Bhakti is very amazing. It does everything in one go. So what this verse is talking about, see, you have a dirty water in a glass. Now, when you have dirty water in the glass, one way is पानी को निकालो और उसको धो और फिर साफ पानी डालो. और other way is you keep putting pure water one time, dirty water will go away, what will remain is the pure water. Another example I gave is if you are one time Radha Shampoo was washing vessels after the yatra, and washing the vessels, it was all kitch. Morning you wash vessel, night. If you make chapati, if you're cleaning the chapati vessel, जिसमें chapati का आटा बनाया है, you directly clean what happens. खिच करना पड़ता है, नहीं करना पड़ता है. But if you immerse in water for 2-3 hours in that water, then what happens? एक स्क्रबर मारो हो जाता है. कितना ने किया है वॉश? करना चाहिए. So process of jnana is to do किच. चपाती का आटा जमा हुआ है, उसको किच करके साफ करना है. प्रोसेस ऑफ भक्ति इज उसको पहले सर्व वाटर डाल दो, भक्ति भाव डाल दो, और फिर एक हाथ मारो, सब साफ हो जाता है विदाउट किच. So one thing is you see neti. Like a child, he has caught some naphthalene balls. एक है उसको चाटा मारो, नेपथॉल ले लो. और दूसरा तरीका ये है कि नेपथलीन बॉल ना लेके उसके हाथ में चॉकलेट डाल दो, नेपथलीन बॉल छोड़ देगा. राइट सुरेश? इज इट पेरेंट्स? He has 2 pens in the hand, so he won't go to the altar. So if you give child something better, he lives there. So when one does Shuddha Bhakti, automatically he develops a higher taste, and because he develops a higher taste, his interest in lower taste. And if you see in the initial years of our Krishna consciousness, that's what happened, and we could become a serious devotee. Nobody told to give up movies, we automatically gave up the movies. Nobody told to give up the wrong things, automatically starts happening. And you're getting doubt that maybe these are wrong. How many automatically start giving, even without telling them? Why? Because higher taste. Okay. But now eventually what happens, because our bhakti becomes mokshkami, and we think that by doing mechanical process of bhakti, we'll come back to Godhead, and we start losing a higher taste because we don't put our consciousness in performing bhakti. We don't put our consciousness in performing bhakti, and we keep doing the bhakti with the enjoying mentality. But the moment voice is stuck. Is a voice here? Internet is little trouble. Somebody has a better hotspot. We can connect. I think it's the internet problem. Yeah. Okay. I think today our network will come. Which one? Okay. It's not coming. Hopefully today our net will. I hope the change the network. Hopefully the voice should be good. Yeah. So the point, so because when you're doing bhakti, now we don't consciously try to please Krishna. So we lose that higher taste. And during our process of bhakti also, our material contemplation goes on because it has become a routine. And we see Gadi aage nahi बढ़ रही है, and that's where we get stuck in Ananda Bhakti. That's where we get stuck in Anant Nivritti. But when we're attracted by the process of bhakti, see, how can you do bhakti for the pleasure of Krishna? You should get attraction to bhakti and to Krishna, to the process of bhakti and to Shri Krishna. So and that happens when we hear about Krishna more and more. And that's why Bhagavatam so much emphasizing on Shravan. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. See, because when we are doing Shravan every day, what happens is our attraction for Krishna awakens. Now, Pade Didi Ratim Sham Evi Kevram. So when the Rati for Krishna, the attraction for Krishna awakens, then the attraction for the process of doing devotion service also awakens. And then chanting doesn't become a formal activity, it becomes activity done with love. And that's why you will see devotees are not attending morning classes. It's a matter of time, they will also not chant their rounds also. Or they will be just dragging their round. So what gives his strength to chant the holy name is Shravan about Krishna. Shravan about Krishna is what gives us the strength to chant the holy name of the Lord. Shravanam Kirtanam. If we chant attentively, that also is Shravan, hearing the holy name. So many times we're chanting the holy name, but we don't hear the holy name what we are chanting. And that's where created the problem. And Prabhupada gives an example of Haridas Thakur. Prabhupada gives two examples of Vishwamit Muni and Haridas Thakur. The Vishwamit Muni has done tapasya for 1,000 years, but when Menka comes, his mind blows off, and he enjoys a Menka for 100 years. Whereas Haridas Thakur, he was also young, but he was not doing tapasya, he was chanting 192 rounds every day. Now, if you see 16 rounds take 2 hours, so 192 rounds will take how much time? 24 hours. If we chant with our speed. But Haridas Thakur was not chanting with that speed. Haridas Thakur was chanting with, he will chant 64 rounds, Mansik. In mind only, he will chant. 64 rounds, he will chant in Upanshik, the way we chant, softly. And 64 rounds, he will chant in Kirtan. It may not be very strictly 64, but like this. And he would complete whole day the chanting. And why he will do chant in Sankirtan? Because it will benefit other listeners. He just wants to chant. And doing that Sankirtan only, he'll make many people devotees. Even with 192 rounds, he was doing a lot of preaching. And sometimes we say, Prabhu, we don't have time for preaching because our rounds are remaining. Our rounds are remaining, we don't have time for preaching. Haridas Thakur's preaching was very, very powerful, along with chanting 192 rounds. And not only he was preaching to devotees, he was preaching to very new people. And with compassion he spoke, the conviction he spoke, people will just take the holy name from Haridas Thakur. So today's Haridas Thakur Disappearance Day. When we talk about Haridas Thakur, it's amazing. So Haridas Thakur, the Ramchand Khan sent a prostitute for Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur knew that, yes, this prostitute has come to defame me, but he stayed. And he told to the prostitute, and because Haridas Thakur was becoming very famous, Ramchand Khan couldn't tolerate. And Ramchand Khan was a Hindu only. He couldn't tolerate it. And what he did, he sent a prostitute to defame Haridas Thakur. I will go and catch Haridas Thakur enjoying the prostitute, and then everybody will know he's not a sadhu, he's a bapu. And then he will be caught in the jail and everything I will do. Haridas Thakur knew the plot. But the prostitute said, first let me enjoy with him, then you catch him. Don't directly catch him. First I will seduce, enjoy with him, and then you catch. And prostitute comes at the time Haridas Thakur was chanting. And Haridas Thakur says, okay, there. And there is one movie also made by devotees, 3 Nights. I don't know if you would have seen that movie. And one beauty of that movie is they have not shown it, they shown it very sattvic. They have not shown the vulgarity in the movie. So that's why it could be watched. The movie could be watched. There is no much vulgarity over there. I think it's not supposed to cover scenes. So I saw that movie. You see in the YouTube, 22 minutes there. So the third day, so he waited for 2 nights. But what was happening? She was hearing the holy name from Haridas Thakur. And while hearing, she also started to chant. And this is the power of hearing from a pure devotee. Now, but it took 3 nights for prostitute to get delivered. She was very, very sinful lady there. And first day, and then the morning came and he said, oh, today my Haridas Thakur said, don't worry, tomorrow I will fulfill your desire. And then she comes back again. This also, let me complete. I have a vow to chant my rounds. When my rounds are completed, I will fulfill your desire. Second night also, she kept hearing the holy name, but hearing increased more. And while hearing also, because whole night she's hearing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So she will also say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare. Kuch to muh se nikal gaya because people. The third night, again she waited, and when the morning time happened, the prostitute First, in the video they showed, first she became angry. Thakur, why don't you fulfill my desire? Why, what's happening? You're waiting with me. And suddenly she broke into tears. Dad, I've come to disrepute you. Please go away from here. And then Haridas Thakur preached to him. You are not his body, you are spirit soul. Why are you keeping this business, spoiling your life? You're much better. And when she saw that compassion of Haridas Thakur, she changed. And she said, Thakur, I surrender to you. And then I said, please, I'm your disciple. I want to give up my old sinful life there. And Haridas Thakur said, whatever wealth you accumulated, distribute in charity to the Brahmanas. Distribute in charity to the Brahmanas. She distributed. She shaved up and sat before a tulsi plant and chanted 192 rounds daily. And Haridas Thakur left. He was only there to deliver the prostitute. After she delivered, Haridas Thakur left there. And every day she was chanting 192 rounds. And when people saw the transformation for Haridas, what Haridas Thakur has done, their respect for Haridas Thakur increased much more. Now, seeing the potency of Haridas Thakur, Maya Devi herself came. Maya Devi herself came, and what did Maya Devi do? Now, see, prostitute is a mortal woman, body made of flesh and all that. But Maya Devi, her body is not made of flesh. Her body is more exalted even than the Apsaras. The radiance, which, see, generally attraction between, see, if you see a putla of a woman, generally people will not get attracted. But a living woman or living man, men attracted to woman and woman attracted to man, especially when there is a radiance. And that's the Maya put. Now, when Maya Devi came, she was so effulgent. Anybody can get attracted. Even when Putana came, all Brajvasis got a little attracted. In the sense, they thought she is Lakshmi. So much aura is coming. So Maya Devi came with such a aura. And all the fragrance and smells were all around Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur and all the taste, coming. And Haridas Thakur, young body, he was not very old, Young Haridas Thakur, he was sitting alone in the night, and Maya Devi full potency came. And same thing Haridas Thakur said to Maya Devi, wait. And when Maya Devi understood, I can't budge it, she surrendered. I came to test you. Previously from my husband Shiva, I got Ram mantra. Now please give me Diksha in Krishna. So Haridas Thakur initiated Maya. So that was the power of chanting. And what was Haridas Thakur relishing? So this was in Vasudeva Bhakti Yoga Prajan Yadu Asha Vairagyam Jnanam Chayate to come. If Maya Devi herself come, which Jnanis will sustain? Right? So Haridas Thakur, because he was relishing the Ras Leela of Krishna while chanting the holy name. For him, the holy name is not different from Radha and Krishna. Nikunja Yumna Ratikela Siddha. He's seeing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna when he's chanting the holy name in Pratyaksh. Then what do any Maya will do? One who has tasted a rasa of Golok Vrindavan, all the rasas of material world is paid to that person. Whereas Vishwamitra Muni was just trying to sustain away from sense gratification. So in Bhakti, when we go deeper into Bhakti, we say, Rupa Raghunatha. First comes Araka Benithai Jante Karuna Movibe Sansara Vasana Mora Kabe Tuja. So when one serves the Guru, representative of Nityananda Prabhu, the Sansara Vasana goes away. He gives us a desire to enjoy this world. There is so much of anarthas, but so powerful desire to enjoy this world is there. But when he becomes a humble servant of a Vaishnava, then by the instruction of a powerful Vaishnava, our desire to enjoy goes away. And then what happened? Veshaya chadiya kabe shuddha devan kabe ham bhujo Shri Vrindavan. Then I will understand Vrindavan. And Rupa Raghunath Pade Hoebe Akuti. When I will apply the books led by Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami, Nectar of Instruction, Jiva Udarupa Surega, Vacha Mansa, Krodha Vegam, and chant the holy name, Kintu Adradhanadinam Khalu Seva, Jishtaha, Atyahara Prayasya, Usaharishe, Dharya. Rupa Raghunath Pade Hoibe Akuti, Kame Ame Bhojo Priti. At that time, in a devotee's heart, the love for Radha Krishna manifests. He understands the exalted nature of the loving relationship between Radha and Krishna. And when a devotee understands that exalted relationship between Radha and Krishna, everything in this world looks to be pale. Everything in this world looks to be pale. Of course, sometimes it may happen in life of a devotee that he experiences something, but due to some aparadhas that taste is covered over, and again he may fall into a illusion. But such a devotee will again come back out of illusion there. But one has tasted that the Leela of Radha and Krishna, everything in this world appears to be pale. Because Maya Devi is just a perverted reflection of that original rasa. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. And that's what Haridas Thakur was relishing while chanting 190 rounds. And that's why he kept on chanting. A drop. And that drop is, and that is not available just by, comfortable lifestyle. Only when we sacrifice for the preaching mission of Mahaprabhu, we sacrifice our false ego. Tenadapi, Sunichena Tarurapi, Sahishuna, Amalina Mahantena. Then that higher rasa is it. So it's a process. So therefore, to a degree we go deep into bhakti, we will find the real jewel of bhakti. If we remain on the surface, it will not have that impact. And that's what the life of Haridas Thakur shows it. Now, I will also mention some of the points on the Puranjan Upadhyana, that how this enjoying mentality works and how this enjoying mentality gets purified. So, how many of you heard about Puranjan? A few of you. So, we'll tell the whole story. Is there a question? Okay. Any question online? You can put in the chat. I'll answer. So, the Puranjan, so Narad Muni just told a allegorical story to Pajni Parishad. And in the allegorical story, he says to Pajni Parishad that how there was a man named Puranjan, king, and he had a kingdom. I think I should show you a Subodhani that will have a more better look of the whole thing. And at the end, we'll discuss the pastime of Haridas Thakur. Actually, to read Bhagavatam, Subodhans are very helpful to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, don't ask the soft copies from me because they are only for preachers. Others are supposed to purchase. So, Garang Darshan we have mercifully given for the preachers, so we should not. Or to the students of the Bhakti Web, of course, we give the copies. Huh? No, they should have hard copy also, just for referring for the classes, basically. Yeah. So, are you able to see? I'll just first reach the place. Yeah. So this is the Narad Muni's Mercian Persian Parishad. So Narad Muni goes to Persian Parishad and he describes a city of 9 gates. And which is the city of 9 gates? Human body. So human body have walls, parks, hairs, towers, trenches or canals, windows are the eyes, gates are the eyelids, capital of the state, heart, and there's a snake which is protecting, which is our life here. And street crossing, streets, gambling houses. Anybody wants to read this passage, read from fourth canto Subodhi. Then you can read fourth canto. Then it will make much sense to you. There. Market, gross mind, resting places, Chetta. And unless you read proper purports, the reading translations won't do. You learn proper says, my reading my purport is very important. That's why we have diamond purports in the morning classes, if you see. So gambling houses, gross location of the senses, gross mind, resting places chitta, beautiful trees and creepers encircling a nice way, groups of birds and bees that are chanting and humming, non-violent animals. So this is the whole is the anand. I'll describe more about Puranjani. Now comes the Puranjani. And Puranjani comes with 10 servants. And Puranjani also was very, very attractive lady. Beautiful and young, she appeared anxious to find a suitable husband. So Puranjani is also looking for a husband, and Puranjan is also looking for a Puranjani. And both get, and Puranjani is beautiful decorated nose, face, beautiful nose, beautiful teeth, beautiful forehead, dark in complexion, dressed in a yellow sari and gold bag, 2 feet jiggling. Her breasts were youthful, round, with no space in between. She'd say everything has a meaning. And she tried to hide them with the end of her cloth out of shyness. And Puranjani becomes the wife of Puranjan. There. And it has come with 10 servants, means 10 senses. So actually, who's this Puranjani? Intelligence functioning with ignorance. So the Jiva gets married to this intelligence, basically. And that's why he gets caught. So this Puranjan, though, Narad Muni first, because people like to hear nice stories, movies, some hero tha, koi heroine thi, dono aapas mein mile. If you narrate a story, nobody will become bored in the class. So to preach Persian Parishad, Narad Muni started to narrate this wonderful story about Puranjan and Puranjani. Right? And because Narad Muni was narrating the story about Puranjan and Puranjani, so Percy Varsha was very attentively hearing. And he did not told the real meaning initially. Initially, he was just telling. And one day Puranjan goes for hunting wild animals. Then Puranjani is very sad. She is telling, why are you going? When Puranjan comes back, Puranjani is in Kopabhav, is in Kopabhavan. I will not talk to you. And Puranjan puts on his feet and Puranjani agrees. So there Puranjani is described as dharmic intelligence. And hunting the animals is compared to Puranjan goes for prostitute hunting. But his wife protected. So wife also acts as a dharmic intelligence which protects the jiva. But eventually, and they have 1,000 children. And eventually, Puranjan becomes a woman in the next life because he was too attached to Puranjani. Now, in the next life, Puranjani meets Vedharvi. She becomes Vedharvi, the wife of Malyadhwaj. And Malyadhwaj dies, and Vedharvi going to become Sati. At that time, Paramatma comes as a Brahmana and preaches to. So, in this allegory, and finally, Vedharvi was delivered in the next life, Puranjan. Now, in the same way, Narada explains that Puranjani is the intelligence. The jiva gets married to the intelligence and everything it does with the intelligence. And intelligence has 10 servants. What are 10 servant intelligence has? 5 knowledge economic senses and 5 working senses. So with that, the jiva continues to work in this world. And whatever one perceives is perceived through Puranjani, through intelligence. And due to which it gets attached to sense gratification. And that is why in the path of bhakti, the intelligence has to be purified. And we should develop a transcendental intelligence, transcendently inspired intelligence. Same intelligence, see, if you see any object, you can see that object with different vision. Now, what inspires you to see an object with a particular vision? Is the intelligence. For example, if a woman is going, a sage may see it as Maya. Tiger may see as a lunchbox. Child may see as the mother. And a devotee may feel compassion that sees a jiva going. She is bereft from Krishna. A devotee may see from the eyes of a devotee sadhu may see from the eyes of compassion. There. So different people will see the one object differently. Same way, you see nice cooking happening in the kitchen. A nice sweet pakhadas are made with nice fragrance and nice sweet rices there. Now the same intelligence through the senses can see, Are Murk, it will be offered to Krishna. This all pleasure for Krishna's flavor. Our same intelligence feel when will I enjoy it. So when you inquire about the menu in the kitchen, know about your status of spiritual life. It's sin to inquire what is there in the menu with a desire to enjoy for a devotee. To inquire what is there in the menu in the kitchen, because that's not made it for your pleasure. It's made for Krishna's flavor. And you get the fragrance and find out what is there will contaminate our intelligence there. So if we can't, so the whole of our verse is out, Vairagya Vidya Nij Bhakti Yoga. Now Haridas Thakur's intelligence is fixed in Radha and Krishna. So nothing of the world could deteriorate. But when we look through our Puranjani, when Pirevrat Maharaj is going to the forest, Brahmaji says, you are going to 6 wives already. You are not alone. You are going with the 6 wives, 5 senses and the mind. Even in the forest also you are going with 6 wives. They won't let you live peaceful there. So this mind and the senses, they actually take the soul in different directions and boundaries. But when this intelligence becomes purified, it liberates the jiva. And that's why this whole pastimes depicts that how we are caught by intelligence in our enjoying mentality, that we are not able to perceive the things of this world. But when we take shelter of Haridas Thakur and develop a taste for the holy name and realize Krishna's name, form, good, Leela. Nam, Rup, good, Leela, what happens? We attain Krishna. And naturally, the taste of sense enjoyment goes away because intelligence can direct. See, intelligence needs food. Either The intelligence will direct you to Nam Roop Gun Leela of Krishna or Nam Roop Gun Leela of this world. So when you're attracted by the Nam Roop Gun Leela of this world, it will make us attach and suffer. But when we're attached to the Nam Roop Gun Leela of Krishna, it will elevate us and liberate us. And that's a whole pastime the Puranjana signifies. That don't get attached to Puranjani. Mean don't get attached to your material intelligence. And that's why when we sing Guru Puja, what do we say? Je prasade pure sarva nahi mone asha. That I just Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya Anna Kori Mane asha. Let my intelligence runs on the word of the Guru and let me not run by my own material desires. Because whenever intelligence is always thinking to follow the teachings of the Acharya, to follow the instructions of the spiritual master, that intelligence can counteract the material intelligence which takes us to sense enjoyment and become the cause of liberation. So we have intelligence. Currently it is material intelligence, and as we are hearing, it is converting to spiritual intelligence. But a time comes in the life of a sadhaka when there is a tug of war. One side, Puranjani is Puranjani is sitting. Other side, Krishna is there. Okay, you should surrender to Krishna. And this tug of war, at that time, tug of war, we need powerful devotee association. Because at that time, when the tug of war is happening, you more develop appreciation for Krishna. It becomes easy to go. That's right. But if you don't have that powerful association, Maya can again drag us back. When this tug of war is happening. So during the tug of war, if we increase our Shravan, increase our Seva, increase our hearing about Krishna Katha, praying to the deities, absorbing the deities form, serving the Vaishnavas, then you will see the tug of war becomes much easier. And we are able to win the tug of war. Because the same intelligence which is directed to the 10 senses is directed to serving Krishna's senses. And that's what a devotee needs a struggle. So when we celebrate days like Haridas Thakur Disciplines Day, we chant more rounds, we pray to Haridas Thakur, hear about him, we develop that determination there. And that's how we can understand that how by doing Shuddha Bhakti means being absorbed in the name, form, gun, leela of Krishna. What is Shuddha Bhakti? When we are absorbed in Nam, Roop, Gun, Leela of Shri Krishna, that's Shuddha Bhakti. So one should see while doing my spiritual practices, like chanting the holy name, am I absorbed in the name? By hearing Krishna Katha, am I getting absorbed in Krishna? First, we have to understand the philosophy, but as the Katha goes on, reading Bhagavatam, your absorption in Krishna will come, where Krishna's form is being explained. Krishna's qualities of Bhakta Vatsalyata are explained. And Krishna there. And we should see, are we getting absorbed in seeing the deity? We are standing in Mangalarti, but are we getting absorbed in seeing the beautiful form of Radha? Madhava there. And even you're not able to come for like those who are grahasthas, those who are living far from the center, they may not able to come to the center every day. You can keep a photo of Radha Madhava and offer a flower to Krishna every day. When you do that, your mind is absorbed in Krishna's form. You feel Krishna's Sharnagati. And those who are living in the center, we should, in Mangalarti, personally feeling that offering to Krishna. So there should be, devotion service should be done with great saha, with great heart. And then you will see the Maya will go balance. And person will get attached to Krishna. That happened. And then performing devotion service is there. And because Haridas Thakur was fully into Krishna, nothing could deter. And we are in between. We are in between. We are neither like Haridas Thakur and neither we fully into Maya. We are trying to come out of Maya and remember Krishna. So हम जिधर जोर लगाएंगे उधर चले जाएंगे. Right? And protect ourselves so that the Maya doesn't contract with it. So that's what the story of lessons from the story of Purandara. So there are many, many things and lessons there. To know that our real Shatru is our enjoying mentality, which is given blow by material intelligence. So transforming this material intelligence to spiritual intelligence, it happens by the mercy of the spiritual master. And mercy of the spiritual master and the senior Vaishnava, the Siksha Gurus, whose Siksha convert this material intelligence to spiritual intelligence. And then one can relish the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Okay, the last part of the section. Okay, any questions upon this? Then I'll describe this passing away of Haridas Thakur. Any questions upon this enjoying mentality? Online, any question? Okay. Yes, Shantanu. Sorry, Ayush, yeah. We see that even though Goswami performing the two different services, they also did so many statements and then they got to. So why they did not get the knowledge from who? Goswami, we see that they studied so many scriptures. So the whole point is Goswami studied so many scriptures to give us. For example, when I was preparing a Bhagavad Gita contest book, verification book, compiling it, I have already agenda what to give to children, like competence, focus, discipline, Krishna Supreme Lord, devotion. But then I was looking for references in Bhagavad Gita that we should give for the children because they will be reading Bhagavad Gita or not. The same way Goswami's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already trained Guru Goswami 10 days, Sanatana Goswami in 1 month, what is way to attain the ultimate bhakti. But they need the references from the scriptures. And therefore they were studying to give those references. Are you getting the point? Nana Shastra, they were not reading to get the conclusions of bhakti. They were reading the scriptures to present the conclusions of bhakti. But in our life, we need to read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita to read the conclusion of bhakti because we have not yet read the conclusion of bhakti. We think it. Still, our mental intelligence is very materially motivated. We are not, our intelligence still has not accepted the path of pure devotional service. So we need to read the literatures left by the Goswami so we get convinced. Siddhanta bhale chitta na karibe alas. Don't be lazy in cultivating philosophical knowledge. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is saying in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So devotees should cultivate knowledge, but given in the parampara. We don't have to go and read all the Vedas. There. Are you getting the point? So the question was, why do Goswamis read the scriptures if they already have the knowledge? So I answered. Yeah.
One thing that you know that I think that we are doing 3% service and we have a motivation that to purify our heart. Is that also?
That's a very nice motive. That's also a nice motive because it's a very stable motive. So those devotees who do their service of purifying the hearts, they will last long in bhakti. But taste will come when you are feeling like to do for Krishna. Loving devotional service. Though, actually all devotees should strive that probably whatever service I'm doing, I should do for my purification of heart. It's the required motivation. Why? Because of this, in our state, we will not be stable in bhakti. But the taste in bhakti will come when there's a loving devotional service. In love, you don't ask for exchange of purification. In love, you just want to serve, just want to please. And that satisfies the heart. Yatmasu prasiddhati. So on the platform of doing for purification, we have to go to the platform of love. And that's the process of sadhana. It's in mode of goodness. Though it's not ahetuki, but in our stage, we cannot have a better hetu than that. So this should be our platform that I am doing, and it is almost ahetuki. Because see, why we want to get purified? To love Krishna. If that's our motive, then we should desire that purification. That I want to get purified because Krishna will enjoy only when I have a purified heart. So that is a hetuki in that sense. Are you getting the point? Yes, yes. Yeah. No, but highest is loving devotional service. It's not very high. See, it requires right association. You see, proper disciples, they got that mode from Prabhupada immediately. So it requires right association to got this mode to do our bhakti to please Krishna. It needs association of devotees. For Gyanis is very high. By your own reading of scriptures is very high. But when you have association of devotees, with that sunlight transpire, oh, let me also do to please Krishna. And that's why this doesn't come automatically. Therefore, it's ahetuki. Bhakti means the sukitva, sukitva. If Krishna, you are happy, I'm happy. I don't need anything else. That is a mode of bhakti. And such a mood doesn't come by charity, doesn't come by meditation, doesn't come by reading scriptures, doesn't come. Because this mood is ahetuki. It's only come by the mercy of the Lord. Okay, there's a question online. Haridas Thakur endured being beaten in 22 marketplaces without losing faith. Is such resilience a result of endeavor in sadhana or the Lord's mercy? So certainly this attitude is a result of Lord's mercy. It cannot be cultivated using sadhana. See, there are qualities. A question comes, should we cultivate qualities or should we just do Shuddha Bhakti and qualities will come? Many times devotees ask, should we cultivate humility or we keep doing bhakti, humility will come? Should we cultivate tolerance or should we doing bhakti, tolerance will come? So answer is, you can cultivate qualities in mode of goodness by our sadhana. So we can cultivate the qualities in mode, like we can cultivate humility in mode of goodness. We can cultivate tolerance in mode of goodness. But what Haridas Thakur showed is not just goodness. It was transcendence because he had forgiveness. He was forgiving. He was praying for the people who are beating, which is not possible in goodness. That comes by Lord's mercy. So answer is we should cultivate. See, we cannot cultivate tolerance like Haridas Thakur. We will die. And if we artificially tolerate too many things, one day it becomes like pressure cooker. And पूरा city बचता है इसमें. Right? Keep tolerating like pressure cooker में city बचता नहीं बनता है. क्यों? Pressure बनता जाता है. So if we tolerate without forgiveness, it becomes like city. And one day cooker explodes. And we'll say, अरे इतना किया मेरे पे इतना अत्याचार हुआ वो हुआ ये हुआ and one day we burst. So tolerance means you can tolerate to the degree you can forget it and forgive it. Forgive and forget. So we should try to, if we are before practicing tolerance, try to practice forgiveness. Never carry grudge or offense in the heart to other. And with that, you tolerate whatever is there. And as we do keep Shuddha Bhakti, Krishna will give mercy to tolerate. So does that answer the question? Okay. Yes. Any other question? Yes, Prabhuji.
So, to all these pastimes that we see that Lord showing mercy on devotees and then devotees doing exalted activities like the verse of realizing the ancient and all. I've noticed that most of the time Lord shows mercy only on with muktas. Is there a thing? But it would have been more relatable for us. Then if they would have shown some mercy to our Nitya Padma and they would have become Nitya Mukta. all the mercy that we see is from Nitya Mukta.
So Prabhuji is saying that Krishna shows mercy only to Nitya Muktas, like Haridas Thakur and their associates. But Ajami was a Nitya Baddha. Did Krishna show mercy to him or not? Gajendra was not a Nitya Mukta. Krishna showed mercy to him or not? So if you see, there are examples of Nitya Bhattas and Nitya Muktas, but less examples of struggling sadhus. And that's why we lose hope. If your Nitya Bhatta is easy, if your Nitya Mukta is easy, the problem is we are in between. But Indra is an example of that. He is doing mistake, Krishna corrects him and he humbly accepts it. Again, he does a mistake, Krishna corrects him and he humbly accepts it. Daksha, he's a devotee of Vishnu. He commits aparadh, he gets punished. Again, he commits aparadh. Again, so there are examples even of struggling sadhakas in Bhagavatam there. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you don't find that. You just chant Hare Krishna, achieve perfection. There is no much struggle in between. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, especially, you see. That was when Mahaprabhu was present, it was like an injection. One injection and done. But now it's like tablets. You have to take it daily. You have to take these tablets daily to get cured, and there will be some struggle. But the struggle will bring out great things in us, will help us to take shelter of Krishna. If we are given, suppose Krishna gave us perfection in a moment, we may take that perfection also very cheaply. But when we struggle whole life and then get mercy, then we will value it. So Krishna is just liking our struggle to make us value what he is going to give. This is my understanding.
Right, in second we see that they have a profession like for example, Maniguru, Vancouver, and Manindi. They saw Krishna and then they asked if I will go back to our own abode. Then will not go back to God. So all sadhakas like Harsha, they are continuing doing the same thing.
So Nalkava and Manindriva, they went to heaven to preach the glories of Krishna. Acharya's light. And because they're Karmishit Bhakta, they don't change. But if they meet a pure devotee and take the position of bhakti, the change will happen. So that's the problem with Karmishit Bhakti. So to a degree, we keep performing Karmishit Bhakti, it's difficult. But when we rise to the platform of Bhakti, it becomes easy. Okay, so I'll just conclude this class with the pastime of passing away of Haridas Thakur. So one day Haridas Thakur was sick, he was not able to chant his rounds. His time, Mahaprabhu comes, Haridas Thakur, you see, you can reduce your rounds. You're already a liberated soul, you've already done the work of Namacharya. And Haridas Thakur says, no, no, Lord, I'm spiritually sick. I should chant, I will not reduce my rounds. And Prabhupada said, a devotee should make a duty to complete his rounds. And it happened. Kadam Kanand Swami Maharaj got cancer. He was in Vrindavan. His Guru Jadrat Maharaj came and said, you can reduce your rounds. It was so difficult when somebody has a cancer to utter the name. He said, Guru Maharaj, please don't take this opportunity to struggle for Krishna. Then, Kadam Kanand Swami Maharaj. So, Haridas Thakur was saying and said, Lord, I know you're going to end your pastimes. I will not be able to tolerate it. I want to leave before you go. And Mahaprabhu said, Ore Haridas Thakur, how will live without you? Without your association, how we will live? And Haridas Thakur said, Lord, millions of souls are looking for you. If a hand dies, what does it matter? So Mahaprabhu is telling that I can't live without you. And Haridas Thakur is saying, I am a hand. What does it matter to you, my Lord? हमारे साथ उल्टा हो गया तो जी आपने कुछ वैल्यू नहीं दिया हम इतने वैल्यू मिलने मुझे और भी डिवोटीज है जितना ज्यादा भाव मत करो But Mahaprabhu is giving vow to Haridas Thakur and now thinking, if the ant dies, what does it matter? And the next day Mahaprabhu comes. And Mahaprabhu keeps his feet on the chest of Haridas Thakur. This whole description and of this. Next morning, after visiting Jagannath temple, they went to see Haridas. My dear Haridas, what is the news? Haridas says, my Lord, whatever mercy you can bestow upon. Lord Chaitanya immediately began congregational chanting in the courtyard. Bhakti Pandit was the chief Sankirtan. Saru Damodar and all the devotees surrounded Haridas and began Sankirtan. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified Haridas Thakur. The more he described the transcendental attribute, the more his happiness increased. Haridas Thakur made Lord Chaitanya sit in front of him. Then he fixed his eyes like two bumblebees on his lotus face. He held his lotus feet on his heart and then took the dust of all the devotees present and put it on his head. He chanted the holy name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya repeatedly. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. As he drank the sweetness on Lord's face, tears constantly glided down from his eyes. While thus chanting, he gave up his air of life and left his body. And seeing the wonderful death, everybody reminded, Bhishma, Bhishma. Bhishma also saw Krishna left his body, and then Haridas Thakur also saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left his body. The Lord raised Haridas' body and placed it on his lap. He began to dance in the courtyard in ecstatic mood. You see, is with his body. All the devotees were helpless and ecstatic now. They also began to dance and chant congregationally. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, everybody feels such ecstasy. They're not able to behold it. Just during Mahaprabhu's dancing. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced for some time. Then Sarul Damodar informed him of other rituals. Haridas's body was raised onto a carrier and taken to the sea with Kirtan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced in front of procession. Then Lord bathed Haridas' body in the sea and declared, from today, the sea has become a great pilgrimage site. Everybody drank the water. A hole was dug in the sand and Haridas' body was placed into it. And Jagannath's remnants were placed on the body. The devotees did Kirtan. And Mahaprabhu himself, and Mahaprabhu said, now this sea has become Tirtha. Anybody who takes bath here will get purified. And then Mahaprabhu started begging the food to do a feast. So Damodar said, no, Lord, you wait, I will do. So he begged the feast. And Mahaprabhu was distributing. Mahaprabhu was distributing the prasadam with 5 hands. He doesn't do small serving. And no devotee was eating. Then Sarva Damodar and other devotees said, Lord, you said, they start serving. Then everybody started. And then a glorious departure of Haridas Thakur happened. Everybody was remembering Haridas Thakur. So let's on this day pray to Haridas Thakur to give a drop of taste for the holy name, the Vaishnava qualities, and shelter the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Haridas Thakur ki Hare Krishna. Prabhat ki jai.